back.
Hey, everybody. Hello. How are you today?
We are back. Look at us.
Had a good breakfast? Did you have a good breakfast?
I did. I had oatmeal,
That's awesome.
half a banana with some walnuts,
Awesome.
and it's just my favorite breakfast.
Mm,
And then I had an
yummy.
early lunch here because this morning I did my power walk. I'm back
Awesome.
on my power walk.
Get your health back.
Yes.
honey. That's the whole objective.
Yes.
And talking about health, whoa,
Yes, that's why
we-
this is a good topic of conversation today.
it sure
Yes.
is. So,
Yes.
it's my understanding that you recently had an experience that you
Yes.
want to share with
Yes.
myself and the audience.
Yes, I really do.
That really would help us know things health-wise
Yes.
that we could prevent and things we could do, and at
Yes.
the same time how to handle things depending on how you're treated with a health
Yes,
situation.
exactly. Now, I first of all want to say I'm not a physician. If you have any medical needs, you have to see a physician or your alternative healthcare
Right.
provider.
Or call
That's-
911.
Yeah, or if it's really an emergency,
Right.
yes, 911 is a good choice. What I am here to talk about is my experience.
Yes.
Okay, and what works for me. And everybody's body is different,
Yes.
everybody has to do for themselves, but there are certain things. Now, I'd like to start off by saying that since 2014, I've been dealing with an issue, and it's called AFib, arterial fibrillation. And it started because of stress, and I had a bad situation with a roommate. And when Marguerite gets stressed, what I do is I fall off the wagon.
Okay.
You see, I'm doing pretty good for my age, other than that, because I know the things to eat and do. I had a very good friend, Baroness Benita von Klingsfort, who was a lovely woman from Austria. She had a BA in nutrition. She knew everything, and she, at 48, I thought I was dying. And she helped me learn what supplements to take, what to do, how to prevent more arthritis, and all these wonderful things. But as I said, when I moved to Burbank and in 2015, something very strange happened one day. I was walking across the street, and all of a sudden, I knew that my heart went off rhythm. And I came back home immediately. I walked back across the street. That was my first encounter with it. And I was sitting there, and I didn't have any pain or any shortness of breath, but I tried to catch a pulse. Because I used to do nursing care, and I wasn't a nurse, but I was a home health care trained specialist. So I know how to, and I had sick people in my family, and I couldn't catch a pulse, which means that the heart was racing up and down. That's what AFib
Oh,
is,
I see.
arterial
Okay.
fibrillation. It goes up and down, and you can't catch a pulse. Now, the danger of being in this situation is you can have a stroke, because as this is happening to your heart, blood is not pumping properly,
Right.
and you can have blood clots form around your heart or other parts of your body. So the objective is to get out of it as quickly as you can. And back then what they did was they paddled me, because they actually do that. They shock you like
Okay.
if you're
Sure.
dead on the ground, and they've got to paddle you,
Sure.
because that got it right back into rhythm.
Okay.
And I thought it was really funny, but I had been eating very badly. Like I said, I was under stress. So I automatically am smart enough to know that when something happens to me, it's directly related to things that I'm eating and how I'm treating my body.
So there's certain foods that you
Oh,
can
yeah.
consume that triggers how your
And I
body
have-
reacts and your cells in
It's
your heart.
products with refined sugar
I see.
and products that are high salt.
Mm,
And my favorite comfort food,
right.
hold on to your chair, Anthony, is pizza and ice cream.
Oh my gosh. We
OMG!
all love pizza and ice cream.
OMG! But let me tell you, I can take it. Olympic champion.
Right.
If there was an Olympian, I can't even say it. I'm so excited thinking about pizza and ice cream. If there was a champ, if you could win an award
Right,
for this,
right.
I don't care what you people think. I'm the winner.
Right.
I would win. Trust me. I can eat like
Wow.
people don't even know it's humanly possible. So I figured, okay, and I got back in shape, and I was doing really well for, maybe almost a year, and then the stress was mounting up again, and I fell off the wagon.
Wow.
And when I say off the wagon, that means the first thing I do is I stop exercising. And for people who think that you don't need to exercise, I can tell you you're suffering from delusion.
Wow, yes.
And that might sound harsh and some of you might even get irritated, but I know what I'm talking about. Because these things don't happen
That's right.
when I'm eating properly and I'm being exercised every day.
Mhm.
Which is what my newest Facebook post is about, because I said to everybody I would explain why I went back to power walking.
That's awesome.
Very quickly, this has happened a total of 5 times, the
Wow.
AFib attacks, over almost 5 years. So I'm averaging once a year, and that's usually, you know, when things have piled up,
Sure.
and then for a few months I start eating like a porcupine in heat or something, I don't know why.
Right.
And the last time I did it was when we were shooting the races. When you're shooting, now that was back in April.
Right, yeah.
When you're shooting a movie, there's all kinds of food around. And we had a lot of good
There
foods.
sure is.
But we also had candies
Right.
and cakes and those
Potato chips.
Oh my
chips,
God,
oh
we had
my God.
refined sugar products and
like
salt.
cakes and
And
cupcakes
guess what
and
I
cookies.
gravitated towards? I ate so many Hershey's Kisses one night. I had to get up early and go back to the store the next morning to get another bag for the table. I'm being brutally honest here. So,
Right.
you know, your body will forgive you for so long. I'm
Right.
71 years old. I was 70 when we were making the movie.
Right.
So as you get older, and I tell this to my younger friends, the body is a little less forgiving.
Of
But
course.
I'm basically under this pretty healthy because this went from April, May, June, and then I sat around for July. I had to come up with another editor because
Sure.
I had problems getting
Right.
an editor. So then the editor and I were sitting around for the past 2.5 months editing, and guess what we had for snacks?
Chips and cakes and all that stuff.
Oh, here we go again. So finally, this one night, I said, you know, I've got to get off this. And lo and behold, I woke up at midnight in AFib.
Wow.
Now, this was 2 weeks ago. So I said, oh, dear God, I've done it again. So I had to go to the hospital. And this is really why I'm saying this. Because the other times that it happened, I went to the hospital, and they immediately treated me.
Okay.
The doctors there knew what they were doing, and I was either paddled or given, they call it a chemical pill that they give you to get the heart back in rhythm. It takes a little longer than being paddled. For me, these are the things that worked, and the doctor that I was there the last time said, if this happens again, let them know you need 3 of these pills, if that's what works on you.
Right.
But this time, you know, you never know when your luck is going to change.
Oh, wow.
I went to the hospital. You were there. You very kindly
I
came to
visited
see
you,
me because
yes.
it was like, whoa, Antonia's not used to the fact that I'd be in the hospital.
Right.
And so, and I don't tell
Right,
people about
right,
this.
right,
I
yeah.
don't talk about it. I had
Yes.
a goddess brunch one day and was in the night before. Nobody knew it.
Right, gotcha.
Because I don't live in sickness, and I take, like I said, responsibility.
Right.
So, you know, but this time the doctor, I won't mention her name, but I have sent a letter. I don't think she should be working there, and I'll have more updates about that. She refused to give me the treatment that would help me get out of AFib. And the longer you remain in AFib, like I said, is a danger for stroke. But she was going, well, I don't know how long you've been in AFib. And I kept telling her since midnight when I woke up.
Right.
I said, I told you, like I told the doctors.
Sure,
then.
of course.
But she says, well, how do I know that? So she was calling me a liar. She didn't give me credit for being in my right mind. So apparently, when you have white hair and you're over 70, there are some doctors that will disrespect you and dismiss you.
Wow.
And what this doctor did put my life in jeopardy. Because now, she refused. She goes, well, you have to see a cardiologist because you can have blood clots, and if I give you the treatment you want, it could kill you. I said, then call the cardiologist.
Right.
This doctor refused to call the on-call cardiologist.
And why do you think that was?
Well, the reason was because I found out she was ready to go home.
Oh, I see.
Because when I asked the nurse about an hour and a half later if I could talk to her, he said, oh, she's already gone. And when I said to her, I says, well, if you can't do anything,
Right.
would you call the cardiologist? And she refused.
my
She was out and
gosh.
refused. And then the other doctor that came on duty did the same thing. Apparently this doctor told her what to do. I said, please call the cardiologist. Because, and the cardiologist I had a follow-up appointment with, he's a wonderful man and in good shape, which I really appreciated.
Right, sure.
And he was very kind and he listened to me. And I had a follow-up appointment with him that Friday because I was in the hospital for 2 nights.
Right.
He gave me a treatment that was infused in an IV in a bag, and it took a lot longer. But the really scary thing is, I was deliberately left in the state of arterial fibrillation for 17 hours before I saw the doctor.
Wow. That's, yeah, she refused to help you, go against what you were telling her,
Yeah.
and make her own decision.
Yes. And if she had, I can respect if she truly felt that way, but even truly feeling like that her protocol should have been to call the on-call
Yes, absolutely.
cardiologist
Exactly.
immediately.
Yes, exactly.
Because he would have to determine. Now, I waited till I was in the hospital to have the echocardiogram, because I said to them, it's not my heart, because I've had it checked before.
Right.
My heart is fine.
Right.
When you eat badly, now for me, when I eat badly, and I'm doing that refined sugar, salt thing I'm craving, what happens is it throws my body out of balance.
Right, sure,
That's why I
sure.
say, you have to take responsibility for the mess you're in.
That's
Seriously.
Right. Yeah.
So it throws it out of balance, and when my body was out of balance, you know, from all that poor eating, it finally said to me, Marguerite, you went too far. And the electrical, the heart is run on electrical impulses and everything.
Sure.
I short-circuited.
Right, right.
And that's why my heart goes into AFib, and that's the reason that I never have pain, I never have shortness of breath, because the situation is not my heart.
Right, right. You know, it's so scary because it just, the way you're explaining the story to me comes across to me like the doctor felt you were lying to her
Yes,
about your situation.
exactly. She felt out, and the thing is, my medical records were all accessible to her in the computer.
Right, right.
So another thing I would suggest to people is you always print out your medical records
Yes.
and bring them with you to the hospital.
Yes.
Keep a copy on hand, because quite frankly, now I'm seeking an attorney.
Wow.
Because my life was placed in jeopardy.
danger.
And I think about, what about the older people who
That's
are
right.
going in there and
That's
have no
right.
one to help them,
That's right.
and have lost their lives because of a doctor like this that
That's
did not
right.
do her due diligence.
Yes, of course.
And when I spoke to the nurse, it was a male nurse, and he saw what was going on, and I said, you know, I just don't understand why she's not listening to me. He goes, every doctor makes their own call, and he shrugged his shoulders, because he knew what was happening wasn't
sure,
right.
Sure.
But as a nurse, you can't be the one to make the call,
Right,
because
of
he would have
course.
automatically lost his job.
Of course, sure.
So it's just like a,
How ironic if he would have been going against the doctor, the same doctor that's going against you.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, that's crazy.
So the result of this is that's why I started power walking again.
That's good.
Because it's the single, I've done it off and on, a lot on over the years. And when I stopped and I started overeating after age 64 is when this started happening.
I see.
So that's why I'm back to the power walking, and I do notice, and I'm not saying this to put anybody down or hurt people, but I have a lot of friends on Facebook, and one even got offended by one of my health posts. You have to understand, I just posted a picture of the beaches from 1970, and the statement about the picture was, when you look at all those people, in that whole crowd of people,
Right.
there was not one fat person in 1970. This was pre-McDonald's.
Right, right,
This was
right.
pre the fast food industry.
That's right, that's true.
So for those who are now baby boomers with diabetes and heart trouble and kidney trouble and everything, this is not your birthright. This is not something that is so hard to figure out. It's what you're eating.
Right.
And now people pass around on Facebook, and it actually hurts my heart, because they're loaded with fat and flour and sugar and
Yes.
butter, and they're passing this around thinking it's really great.
Right.
And then next week they've got a picture up with their swollen leg. This one woman's been posting her swollen leg for 6
my
weeks.
gosh,
It's,
jeez.
you know, she should be taking responsibility for that, but it's almost like some people get sick and they want to brag about, I don't want to see your broken body parts. I want
Right.
you to be my friend and take better care of yourself.
Right, right, of course. Well, this is definitely health-wise, if you are in a situation where you have to go to the doctor or the hospital or something, that you need to be prepared for
Yes.
a possibility that a doctor might go against what
Yeah.
you're telling them.
Yeah.
And that is actually scary because it is a do or die situation.
Yes, it is.
And in that case, it could have gone sour
Yeah.
had you not
Yeah.
been adamant
Yeah.
about, I need this, I need that. And I'm
Yeah.
glad to know that you are actually taking action to write a letter or
Yeah.
have
I
done
sent
whatever.
2 letters certified to the
Okay,
heads of this
awesome.
hospital. Haven't heard back from that yet, and I have started making calls to attorneys.
Right, sure. Because if they did it to you, that means they're doing it to
They're
somebody
doing it
else.
to other people who,
Yeah.
and older people are vulnerable.
Right.
They're in a state of being frightened, they're afraid for
Right.
their life. Personally, with me, I always go into God.
Mhm.
I don't go into terror, I go into prayer and keeping calm,
Right, sure.
because you don't want to get upset.
Of
But
course.
it's easier for me than a lot of people, because I don't just say I believe in
Yes,
God.
correct.
I don't just say it's up to God. I actually have that ingrained in me.
Yes.
So I'm not crying, I'm not hysterical, I'm not,
Right.
oh, I don't want to die.
Mhm.
Because when that time comes, we're going to God anyway, so
Mhm.
another
And,
journey.
and it's good to know that you can actually question the
Yes.
doctor that's attending to you. And we're not saying that all doctors are this way.
Absolutely
We're
not.
saying that
I
you
love
need to
my
be
doctor, my
conscious,
primary
right.
care doctor, she's an angel.
Right, you need to be conscious that if there's an emergency like the one that Marguerite had, and whatever doctor you do get, that
Yeah.
that doctor's not working along with you for a resolution based on how you know your body, because the doctor doesn't know your body. They know the symptoms right now they're being given, but you know your body from history. And if that doctor's not agreeing with you, listening to you, or even paying attention to what you have to
Yeah.
say, that has to be questioned.
Yes, and this
And-
will be
yeah.
very questioned, and I'll
Mhm.
keep everybody posted.
Wow, thank you so much for
because,
sharing
yeah.
this with
But
us.
yeah, and I want to keep my workouts up,
Right,
and
sure.
it doesn't mean you can't eat good foods, there's lots of good foods.
That's right.
You can have alternative recipes, I'm going to be
sure, of
experimenting because I do have a sweet tooth, but there's ways to make desserts that are actually healthy.
Healthy,
It's
that's right.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, thank you for tuning
Thank
in
you,
with us.
and remember, we
Yes.
want you to subscribe.
Suscribe.
And part of our new show is we're gonna have more forums like this,
Yes.
where we